welcome to the deep dive. Okay, imagine this. What if healing wasn't just about pills or procedures?
Right.
What if it was really about finding these hidden energetic imbalances inside your own body?
It's a really profound thought, isn't it?
Yeah, the idea that your own body has this deep wisdom holding the keys to getting well.
And that's exactly the fascinating idea we're digging into today. We're exploring the work of Dr. Bradley Nelson, specifically his concept called the body code.
Our source material for this is straight from excerpts of his book, The Body Code, Unlocking Your Body's Ability to Heal Itself.
Yeah, a really comprehensive guide to his thinking.
So for you listening, our mission here is to really unpack what this approach is all about. How does it suggest we can restore balance and tap into that natural self-healing?
Often in ways that sound pretty amazing, actually.
We'll look at the core principles, the tools they use, and the huge range of health issues it claims to help with.
It definitely represents a potential paradigm shift, and it really starts by taking a hard look at where we are now with health, especially in some parts of the world.
Absolutely. And the picture isn't always great, is it? If you look at the U.S., for instance, back in 2014, something like 150 million Americans, that's almost half the population, had at least one chronic illness.
And the projections were that it was only going to get worse.
It's kind of staggering.
What's really striking is the paradox. The U.S. spends, well, vastly more on healthcare per person than any other nation, over $9,200 back in 2017.
You'd think that would mean the best health outcomes.
You would, but actually, Americans tend to die younger and have higher rates of disease compared to people in 16 other developed countries. It ranked 17th out of 17 affluent nations for health overall. It's a huge gap.
So what does Dr. Nelson see as the big problem? Why this disconnect between spending and, well, actual health?
He really zeroes in on the focus on chasing symptoms. Instead of digging down to the root cause, the system often just treats the outward signs.
Like putting a bandage on something deeper.
Exactly. And you see this especially with older folks, maybe over 60, who end up on like a dozen or more medications.
Right.
And some of those drugs are just to deal with the side effects of other drugs. It becomes this tangled, inefficient, and sometimes dangerous cycle. Polypharmacy, they call it.
Sounds exhausting, honestly, and very reactive. But this is where things get interesting, right? This kind of emerging shift Dr. Nelson talks about.
Yes.
These non-traditional healing methods,
Yes.
things that maybe used to be dismissed, are actually gaining a lot more respect now. What's driving that change?
Well, partly it's technology. You know, we can measure things now that we couldn't before, subtle energy fields, things like that. But honestly, a big part of it is just they work. These alternative methods are showing real, consistent results.
Any examples come to mind?
Oh, definitely. Look at EMDR. That's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, used a lot for PTSD.
Right, I've heard of that.
Well, less than 20 years ago, it was often called quackery. But now, study after study shows it's one of the most effective treatments out there, especially for veterans.
That's a huge shift in perception.
It is. But even something like EMDR usually takes, at least 3 months of sessions.
Okay, so where does the body code fit in then?
Yeah.
It sounds like it proposes a different kind of timeline.
That's the key difference. The body code and other energy-based methods often report significant effects much faster, sometimes in days or weeks.
Days or weeks?
Yeah. Think about things that have been around forever, like acupuncture relieving pain for thousands of years, or chiropractic adjustments helping nerve function.
Things that Western medicine maybe didn't always understand.
Exactly. But now, mainstream science is starting to catch up, acknowledging the energetic healing power and the lasting benefits these approaches can offer.
It really brings to mind that quote from Einstein, doesn't it? Future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies.
Absolutely. It suggests this fundamental shift in understanding the body, moving beyond just the purely physical.
Which leads us perfectly into the core principles behind the body code. Where should we start?
The absolute foundation, the number one principle is this. Everything is energy.
Everything.
Everything. Dr. Nelson uses this analogy of a Lego universe. Tiny, vibrating subatomic particles are the building blocks.
Like quarks and electrons and stuff.
Precisely. Different arrangements of these energies form atoms, then molecules, DNA, and eventually us, our physical bodies.
So, back to Einstein again. All matter is energy, if we're made of matter.
Then fundamentally, we are beings of energy. That's the core insight Dr. Nelson built on.
So healing isn't just about fixing the physical machine, it's about correcting the energy. the vibrations.
Exactly right. And this isn't just philosophical, it ties into quantum mechanics.
How so?
Well, quantum physics research shows that energy behaves differently depending on what the observer expects to see. Our thoughts, our intentions can actually influence how these tiny particles behave and form reality.
That's mind-bending.
It is. And it leads to this intriguing idea: could the energy within the atom itself be intelligent? Or maybe guided by some kind of higher intelligence?
That opens up a whole different level of thinking, which connects to the spiritual aspect Dr. Nelson brings in, right?
Yeah.
The idea that everything was created energetically first.
Yes, the belief that the creator made everything spiritually or energetically before it manifested physically.
And how does that apply to us individually?
He suggests that our spirit acts like a 3D blueprint for our physical body. He calls the body a sacred temple.
A sacred temple.
Yeah. So from that viewpoint, helping the body work better isn't just a medical task. It's seen as a deeply sacred thing.
Okay, that's a powerful perspective. Now, maybe the most critical piece for how the body code actually works is the subconscious mind. It's described as this master computer for the body.
It's incredibly intelligent, almost beyond comprehension. Think about it. Your subconscious takes your breakfast and turns it into heart tissue or blood cells without you consciously doing anything.
Right, it just happens.
It's controlling and coordinating something like 37 trillion cells constantly. Dr. Jill Carnahan, an MD quoted in the book, puts it perfectly. Your subconscious mind controls all the vital processes. It already knows the answers, and it already knows how to heal you.
It holds all the answers. Wow.
It really does. All the information about imbalances, about what needs fixing, is supposedly stored there.
Okay, so if this amazing subconscious mind has all the answers, how on earth do we tap into that? How do we get the information out?
That's where the main practical tool of the body code comes in: muscle testing.
Muscle testing. Okay, I've heard of this, but how does it actually work in this context?
It's essentially a form of biofeedback. The idea is to get simple yes or no answers directly from the body's subconscious intelligence.
Like talking to the body's computer in binary code.
Exactly like that. The core principle is pretty straightforward. Your muscles tend to test strong when you say or hear something true, and they weaken, even slightly, when you say or hear something untrue.
Huh. It sounds almost too simple. Is it reliable? Are there specific ways to do it?
Well, simplicity doesn't mean ineffective, right? But yes, technique matters. There are different methods. Some people use a pendulum, others use specific finger placements.
Okay.
Dr. Nelson stresses accuracy. For example, when testing on the arm, he advises applying pressure on the long bones of the forearm, not right over the wrist bones.
Why is that?
Because pressing on the wrist bones can trigger a protective muscle weakening reflex, which could give you a false no answer. So technique is important.
Got it. That makes sense. But the body code takes muscle testing further, doesn't it? Especially when you can't test the person directly.
Right. There are two key distinctions here. First is surrogate testing.
Like a stand-in.
Exactly. This is used when the person you want to help is physically there, but you can't test them directly. Maybe they're unconscious or asleep, or it could be a baby, or even an animal.
Okay, so someone else gets tested for them.
Yes. Another person, surrogate, or even you yourself can step in.
How does that work energetically?
Yeah.
How does the surrogate's body know what's happening with the subject?
The idea is that our biomagnetic field, our energy field, is quite strong up close. It extends maybe about 6 feet around us.
Okay.
So within that 6-foot radius, the surrogate can effectively connect. You direct the questions to the subject's subconscious, but the answers show up in the surrogate's muscle responses. It's incredibly useful for people in comas, or like you said, for working with pets.
Okay, within 6 feet. But what about someone who's much farther away? Like across the country or even on the other side of the planet?
That's where proxy testing comes in. This really stretches the concept.
Proxy. So acting as the person.
Precisely. A proxy temporarily, energetically becomes the person being tested.
How do you establish that connection?
It's done through intention. The proxy simply states clearly, my name is subject's name. For example, my name is Jane Doe.
And that creates an energetic link, even over vast distances.
That's the assertion. It's linked conceptually to things like quantum entanglement.
Whoa, okay. Quantum entanglement. The idea that particles can be connected instantly, no matter how far apart.
Right. Dr. Nelson suggests a similar kind of non-local energetic connection allows this proxy work. That because everything is fundamentally energy, we're all interconnected at some level.
So distance doesn't matter on that energetic plane.
Apparently not. When the proxy sets that conscious intention, the subconscious minds involved are said to recognize and allow that connection for healing purposes.
That's pretty mind-blowing. I can see how some listeners might find that a big leap. How does he sort of ground that idea?
He frames it as a natural, though maybe underrecognized, property of universal energy. Think of it like tuning into a specific radio frequency. The proxy tunes into the subject's energy. He gives an example. His wife Jean and daughter Lizzie in the US, helping his other daughter Sarah in Paris with a headache.
Okay.
Lizzie would act as proxy. She'd say, "My name is Sarah." Then they'd test it. If she tests strong for "my name is Sarah," but weak for "my name is Lizzie," they know the connection is made. Then any corrections identified and released on Lizzie's body while she's acting as proxy are believed to be simultaneously released in Sarah's body in Paris.
Remarkable. It shows how far-reaching they believe this can be. But it's also really important to talk about the limits, right? The boundaries of muscle testing.
Absolutely crucial. Dr. Nelson is very clear. He views muscle testing as a gift from the divine, specifically intended for health and healing service.
So what is it not for?
Definitely not for trying to predict the future, like asking for lottery numbers or stock tips.
Okay, good to know.
And also not for making major life decisions, like who you should marry or what job to take. He feels strongly that it's a sacred tool meant only for helping people heal physically and emotionally. Trying to use it for other things probably won't work reliably anyway, he suggests.
That's a really important clarification. He also mentions it's not foolproof, right? Not 100% accurate. It can be influenced by the tester's own beliefs.
Yes, personal bias is a factor to be aware of. It takes practice to remain neutral and open. The goal is to be a clear channel for the subconscious information, not to steer the answers towards what you want them to be.
So you have to trust the process and accept whatever comes through.
Exactly. Let the body's wisdom lead without your own agenda getting in the way.
And that wisdom, using the body code map, helps navigate this whole landscape of potential imbalances. It seems very organized, a systematic way to find and fix things. Where does the map start? What's the most common issue?
Dr. Nelson identifies emotional energies as probably the most common yet often unrecognized cause of suffering, specifically trapped emotions.
Trapped emotions. What are they physically?
Or energetically. He describes them as literal spheres or balls of pure emotional energy. They can vary in size, maybe like a baseball up to a small melon.
Wow. And they get stuck somewhere in the body?
Anywhere, yeah. And when they lodge there, they distort the body's natural energy field. This can cause physical pain, organ malfunction, fatigue. It messes with blood flow, cellular function, all sorts of things.
The impact sounds huge. I remember reading about a guy, Steve, with terrible low back pain, like a 9 out of 10.
Right.
And they found and released a trapped emotion of anger he'd had from something 20 years earlier. And poof, the pain was just gone instantly.
It's a dramatic example, but illustrates the potential power. There are many stories like that. People whose fibromyalgia symptoms cleared up in weeks. Big improvements in asthma, anxiety, knee pain, all trace back to releasing these stuck emotions.
There was another description, someone named Philip K. feeling like an incredibly heavy blanket was lifted off him after releasing grief and heartache.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of the weight these energies can carry.
And there's a specific type of trapped emotion structure. You mentioned the heart wall. That sounds significant.
It is, very. The heart wall is described as layers of trapped emotions, maybe 12 to 24 on average, that the subconscious builds around the heart.
Why? To protect it.
Exactly. Usually formed during times of intense grief, loss, or emotional pain as a way to shield the heart from further injury.
But it has downsides.
Definitely. While protective initially, Dr. Nelson says a heart wall can really block your ability to fully give and receive love. It can make it hard to connect deeply with others and just live a truly joyful life.
And it's not just metaphorical.
Apparently not entirely. Scientists can measure the heart's electromagnetic field extending several feet out from the body. It's a powerful energetic center, so blockages there would logically have a big impact.
Okay, so beyond emotions, the map also includes post-traumatic energies. What falls into this category?
This is about the energy left over from physical impacts, like a blow, a fall, an accident, or even just extreme physical stress. It's like an energetic imprint of the trauma gets stuck in the body's field.
An energy echo of the injury.
That's a good way to put it. There's an anecdote about a young man with neck pain that had persisted for 4 years after a car accident.
Yep.
Releasing the specific physical trauma energy from that accident reportedly resolved the pain completely.
4 years. Wow. And the builder, John, the 74-year-old.
Oh, right. The scaffolding accident back in 1985. Fractured vertebrae, lost strength and movement in his arm for decades.
And after releasing various emotional and physical trauma energies related to that.
He regained full movement and strength. It shows how long these things can linger energetically.
Incredible. Okay, next on the map, allergies. This one surprised me a bit. There are two types identified.
Yes. First, the ones we typically think of. Physical allergies. Reactions to substances like peanuts, dust, pollen, medications, and so on.
Right.
The body code suggests these often have underlying imbalances, like trapped emotions tied to them that also need clearing for the allergy to fully resolve.
Okay, that makes sense. But then there's the second type, idea allergies. That sounds abstract. What is an idea allergy?
It is abstract, but the effects are described as very real. An idea allergy happens when the subconscious forms a faulty, negative energetic link to an idea.
An idea, like a thought or a
And-
concept.
Exactly. It could be a thought, an emotion, a concept like success or love, an event, even a person or a place. The subconscious basically creates this negative association, almost like an allergic reaction, but to an abstract concept.
And how does that show up?
It can manifest in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage patterns, sudden emotional reactivity, avoiding certain situations or people, phobias.
Phobias. Wow.
And even, as one anecdote mentions with Teresa R., actual physical pain triggered by encountering the idea it's allergic to. It's like an energetic miswiring.
Huh. That really expands the definition of allergy. The map also includes offensive energies, sometimes called entities. This might be a challenging concept for some. How is it presented?
It's presented as another potential type of energetic imbalance. The body code acknowledges the possibility of discarnate energies or unseen influences attaching to people
And affecting them how?
by lowering their overall energetic vibration, potentially contributing to unhappiness, depression, anger, illness, or even interfering with the healing process itself.
Is there any mention of why or how this might happen?
Dr. Nelson suggests these energies are drawn to lower vibrations, things associated with, say, violence, addiction, maybe even certain types of intense or dark music or media. He specifically mentions prayer as being particularly helpful in addressing these kinds of imbalances.
Okay. Moving on, the map covers pathogens. We're talking about microbes here.
Yes, infectious agents like fungi, viruses, bacteria, parasites. The key idea is that they often become opportunistic.
Meaning they take hold when the body's defenses are already weakened by other imbalances.
Precisely. When the immune system is compromised or the body's terrain is out of balance, these pathogens can proliferate and cause trouble.
Any specific examples highlighted?
Fungi, like Candida, get a mention. It's called the great mimicker because overgrowth can cause such a wide array of symptoms, often confusing diagnoses.
And what allows it to overgrow?
Things like hormonal shifts, maybe from birth control or pregnancy antibiotic use, which disrupts gut flora, or diets high in sugar, which feed yeast.
Makes sense. What about parasites?
They're discussed too. Can cause anything from fleeting aches and pains or digestive issues to fatigue, and sometimes more severe conditions like ulcerative colitis. Basically, they live off your nutrients and dump their waste products into your tissues.
Yikes. There was a story about a child.
Yes, a child with a mystery illness, given only months to live. Body code testing supposedly revealed 9 different types of parasites. Once those were addressed with targeted supplements, the child's health dramatically improved.
That's incredible. And viruses, too. There was something about picking up a cold virus energy.
Right. A practitioner released a common cold virus energy from a patient and then accidentally felt symptoms themselves shortly after, suggesting an energetic transfer occurred.
Interesting. And mold.
Mold exposure is another one. A baby diagnosed with failure to thrive, with no clear cause, improves significantly after mold was suspected and addressed using body code principles alongside essential oils.
So it's looking at the energetic signature of these things, not just the physical presence.
That seems to be the approach, yes. Addressing the energetic imbalance that allowed the pathogen to thrive.
Okay, what about the body's actual structure and internal workings? Organ, gland, and structural imbalances are next.
This part emphasizes the energetic connections between different parts of the body. For instance, they often find links between, say, right knee pain and an imbalance in the gallbladder.
Really? How are they connected?
Through energy meridians or other subtle connections, apparently. Low back pain is frequently linked to the kidneys being energetically unhappy.
Unhappy kidneys. How do you know if an organ is unhappy?
There is a technique mentioned called testing for contentedness. You literally ask the organ or gland through muscle testing if it's balanced or happy. This can supposedly pick up imbalances long before any physical symptoms show up.
That's very proactive.
It is.
Yeah.
Specific organs mentioned include the uterus, gallbladder, heart, colon, the ileocecal valve, which can mimic appendicitis, ovaries, pancreas, pineal gland, thyroid, and more.
And structurally, what about the spine and bones?
Spinal misalignments are considered important because they can block the communication pathways between the brain and the rest of the body.
What causes these misalignments, according to this model? Is it just physical impact?
Often not just physical. They're frequently linked back to underlying imbalances. Maybe a trapped emotion pulling things out of alignment, or an organ imbalance affecting nearby muscles, like the kidneys impacting the psoas muscles involved in low back pain.
So you have to find the root energetic cause.
That's the idea. There's an anecdote about a 3-year-old boy with chronic ear infections and asthma since a difficult forceps birth. Addressing neck misalignments and their underlying energetic causes led to improvement.
Wow. And the gray tooth.
Oh yeah, a boy's tooth turned gray due to lack of circulation from a misalignment. Correcting the alignment reportedly restored blood flow, and the tooth returned to its normal color.
Amazing. Okay, besides internal imbalances, we also absorb things from the outside. Toxicity is a big category.
Huge. And it covers a lot of ground, starting with heavy metals.
Like what?
Mercury is a big one from sources like coal-burning power plants, maybe some vaccines historically, dental fillings. Lead is another, often from old plumbing, which the body can mistake for calcium and store in bones, blood, and organs. Cadmium, aluminum too.
These sound really bad physically. How does the body code address them? Just detoxing.
Well, detoxing is important, but Dr. Nelson suggests these toxic metals also have an energetic component that can be identified and cleared using intention and energy techniques.
Energetically clearing heavy metals.
That's the claim. There's a story about a cat that overdosed on medication and was detoxified using proxy testing, making a supposed miracle recovery. And a person whose shoulder pain was traced to lead buildup from drinking water in a new house.
So it's like clearing the energetic disruption they cause.
Seems to be the approach. Then there are food toxins, things added to our food.
Like what?
Flavor enhancers like MSG, which can hide under other names like glutamate or hydrolyzed protein, artificial sweeteners, especially aspartame, food colorings.
Are there examples of clearing these?
There's an anecdote about someone with a severe sugar addiction, like 15 spoons in their tea, whose cravings disappeared after body code work.
15 spoons!
Wow. And another about a child with ADHD and autism-like symptoms improving dramatically after they cut out snacks containing artificial food colors.
Interesting. And recreational toxins.
Things like tobacco, which apparently contains hydrogen cyanide, a potent insecticide, and drugs like ecstasy, noted for depleting serotonin in the brain. These are also viewed as having energetic imbalances associated with them that can be addressed.
It really is a comprehensive map. What's the last major area?
Nutritional deficiencies and other needs. This acknowledges the basics, like the importance of vitamins and minerals, using scurvy and vitamin C as a classic example.
But it goes beyond just nutrition.
Yes, it also includes identifying and correcting things like persistent sleep issues, imbalances in the body's magnetic field, and even deficiencies related to specific colors of light.
Magnetic field imbalances. How does that happen?
In one anecdote, a friend's severe elbow pain was identified as a magnetic field imbalance caused by trapped emotions. Correcting it reportedly made the pain vanish permanently.
Huh. And sleep.
Someone had trouble waking up for years. They released 24 trapped emotions related to it, and the problem resolved. It shows how these underlying energies can affect almost anything.
It really does. And the application of this isn't just for the person being worked on directly, is it? It seems to ripple outward.
Exactly. The potential reach extends across generations and even to other species.
Let's talk about healing children. They can have these imbalances too.
Absolutely. Kids are just as susceptible. The book mentions improvements in things like sensory processing disorder, leading to better sleep and more vitality, and also in symptoms related to ADHD and autism.
Do kids respond differently?
Often very quickly, yes. Their energy systems tend to be less cluttered with accumulated imbalances compared to adults.
That makes sense. And for pet lovers out there, healing animals is covered too.
Yes. Animals have complex emotions and biology, so they can definitely have trapped emotions and other energetic issues just like us.
And the same methods work. Proxy and surrogate testing.
They work very effectively for pets and other animals, according to the book.
Any examples stand out?
There was a good one about a dog terrified of fireworks. The root cause wasn't just the noise. Testing apparently traced it back to an environmental toxin exposure and a misalignment from years before. Addressing those resolved the panic.
Wow, that really shows the anything can cause anything idea Dr. Nelson talks about. Seemingly unrelated things connected energetically.
Precisely.
What about helping older people? Strengthening the elderly's mentioned.
Yes, supporting aging parents or loved ones by addressing their physical pains, emotional burdens, and energetic blockages.
Was there a particularly striking story there?
The story of a father who had a major stroke and was apparently near death. Through consistent body code work, he reportedly recovered and got back to normal. It's presented as a testament to the body's potential when blocks are removed, regardless of age.
That's very hopeful. Now, this next one is really fascinating. Addressing inherited imbalances. The idea that we can inherit problems from our ancestors.
Yes, specifically things like trapped emotions can apparently be passed down through generations energetically.
Inherited emotions. How does clearing those affect the person now?
It can lead to really profound shifts. One woman, Isabella C., removed a heart wall made of 3 negative emotions inherited from her grandfather.
And the result?
She reported feeling much more courageous and decisive in her own life afterwards. Another case involved a father whose hypertension resolved after clearing an inherited trapped emotion. It suggests our family history can impact our energy field.
This is a huge concept. And finally, the impact isn't just personal health, but also on relationships.
Absolutely. As you clear your own energetic baggage, trapped emotions, heart walls, negative beliefs, you naturally change how you relate to others.
How so?
You tend to become more open, more compassionate, more authentic. There's an anecdote about a husband who was initially skeptical but agreed to proxy sessions for his heart wall. After a few sessions, he commented that his chest felt lighter, and his wife noticed he became much more open to conversation. It shows how our internal energy state radiates outwards.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear that the body code offers this really comprehensive, holistic view of healing.
Yeah, it sees the body as this intricate energy system, and it uses muscle testing as a way to communicate with the subconscious mind.
To find and correct all sorts of underlying imbalances, right? From stuck emotions and inherited patterns to pathogens, toxins, structural issues, the whole lot.
It really underscores that while our conventional medical system is vital, there might be these other profound, sometimes quite simple ways to tackle health issues.
By tapping into the body's own intelligence
Yeah.
and its natural ability to heal once those energetic roadblocks are cleared.
Exactly. Empowering the body to do what it's inherently designed to do.
So here's something to maybe leave our listeners thinking about.
Yeah.
If our thoughts, our intentions, can actually influence the subatomic particles that literally make up our reality, then what could happen if we consistently held a loving, healing intention? How might that reshape not just our own health, but maybe the energy of our relationships, our communities, maybe even the world around us?
That's a powerful thought to ponder, definitely. The potential implications are enormous.